What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. Sort of teased from last episode, we're going to be moving on to what I like to call Stage 2 of our world domination process. Now, you may be wondering what Stage 2 is, and the simple answer to that is passengers. And the more complicated answer is we're going to set up a network for passengers to get from wherever they are to wherever they need to be, which could include the same city, could include a different city. So step one of passengers is getting a inner city, is that even the right terminology? I feel like it is. Anyways, to get routes within the same city, so that everyone can, well, be together. That's a horrible description. So that everyone can get around the city easily if you're working within the same city. Step 2 of Stage 2 is going to be getting a train network of all the cities connected, right? We won't have it so that, Pullman can go up to Jack, but what we'll do is we'll make it so that Pullman can connect to Seattle and to Tacoma, right? And then from there, you could catch a train from the same station. Is a key here. From the same station, you could connect a train from Tacoma to Oak, and then maybe Oak to Long Beach, and Long Beach to Jack, right? So there's a connection that you can work your way up to. And I think that works out really well. Now, in the city, I want to play with... let me just delete this real fast, since I'm thinking about it right now. I want to play with trams, because I don't really do that, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I wish this was straight. This is going to bug the heck out of me, but if I delete these two, this entire area is going to be rebuilt. Not that we don't have the money. It's just unfortunate, right? But we're going to start in Pullman in step 1 and sort of go through the process with you. And we may show you one or two more, and then we're going to probably do the rest of step 1 off screen, because it's going to be a lot of the similar stuff. It may actually throw in more clips of cities that are abnormal. So with that being said, let's crack into the normal ones. So before we can do that, actually, I need to show you 3 pictures, and these are paint drawings, or drawings done within Paint online. And basically what I did was I threw paint up on a second monitor, and I started with the first one, of course, where I just drew the rivers to the best of my ability. I'm no artist, guys. I'm a programmer, not an artist. So I drew the rivers to the best of my abilities. It said, hey, this one starts in the upper right and goes to about, 1/3 down the map on the left side, right? And so I drew a line there. I said, oh, there's a river that really just runs from north to south. And sort of tucks in on the right side, but there's slivers because there are 2 cities pretty close together in there. And then we have one last shoot off that, splits at the end, but not really impactful because there's nothing down there. The second picture is me placing in all the cities, trying to get a relative position to each other and the river. Really, it's the relative position to each other that matters the most. The river's really there to help me identify which city is which. And then the third one is basically drawing routes from cities to each other. Now you notice there are 2 colors here. The darker color is the routes that are definitely going in. The lighter colors are maybes. And honestly, I'm thinking that the darker ones is what we're going to start with, and maybe coming back to the lighter ones later on. So that being said, you can see that Pullman down in the lower left of the picture is going to connect to Tacoma and Seattle, like I said. And so what we need to do is make sure we place a train down on our tram route that will then go to Seattle and Tacoma. And what I mean by that is that we're gonna have, coming back to Pullman here, we're gonna have a tram route going through the city. One of the stations for the tram route needs to be connected to a train station, because that's where the passengers are going to come into the city. They're going to be imported into the city through that train and then be delivered by tram. Now, that being said, it'd be good of us to try and get a double route of tram going. So in other words, one going clockwise, one going counterclockwise, even though I moved my mouse in the wrong directions for both of those. But let's start with Pullman, because I feel like Pullman's going to be the easiest, being, well, in the corner. Yeah, so what I would like to do is come in here and delete this, because that was terrible. Now we can, so we're going to start with this guy, and then this guy can come back in, like so. Now I'm gonna throw in one down here, just to have an extra connecting one there. However, we're then going to come up to this large oh, we could do a non-large street. So what we want to do is sort of do like a bus lane, and then do a tram track with and electric, and then keep ownership or keep ownership, yeah, because I don't really care about ownerships. What this is gonna do is it's gonna give us 2 lane streets, so it's not a one-way. Both of these lanes are bus routes, so general traffic shouldn't be on them. And then they're also trams, which means they can be trams, not just buses. That being said, I think I prefer this one, which does give us a lane of passengers. And I don't know. I feel like that works. It's a bit better. And what we can do is hit this wand looking thing. Actually, first let's connect this over. And this one over to this guy. Then we're gonna hit the wand on this one and this guy. That. This, once it loads. Autosave, please. Thank you. And we're just gonna go through that. And I didn't want to do this, but it's fine. Okay, next we're gonna connect this over to yonder. And like that. So then we can go bam, bam, and bam. So now we have this square. And that's gonna be our tram route. You know, that one didn't work out too well, but that's alright. And so we'll always have this this lane on both sides that will enable us to stop wherever we want without dealing with traffic all too badly. Now, I do kind of want to put you in like this, so we can angle the do it a little bit further, I think, so that we can come in here with the train tracks and a passenger station, to be exact. 2 tracks. I think 2 will be fine for now. And we're just gonna angle it like this, so it's kind of going away from the city. That being said, we can come in here now with a bus / tram stop and get, you see how the track is, or the station's highlighted, so therefore we can put a tram stop here on both sides and be good like that. And this covers most of the upper corner here. What I'm going to do is going to put another one right in here. Put one more over here. How far into the center does that actually put us? Oh, see, we need to come closer actually. Because this centerpiece is going to get missed, I think. Oh, well, that hits here, which means it should hit here. And if we're doing this guy, that works there. Yeah, we'll be fine just doing it down in the corner here. There we go, and then we'll do one up yonder. Then all we need left is a tram depot. And I want to put this in like here. So we don't destroy the buildings, but it's kind of snuck in. Now, we're going to do a new line going this direction. And how do I know? So that's number 2 at Jackson Street, which is what we want. Number 1 there, good. At Green Street, is that, yeah, it's a number 1, good, good, good. And then at Oak Street, it's also a number 1, great. So this is the, we use S for ships, right? Yeah. So we're gonna use car, or C for streetcar. This is another name for trams, because naming conventions start to suck when you're only using one initial. For Pullman, and this is counterclockwise, so CCW. We're gonna have another one that's going clockwise. So you can see how this is on the other side of the street, which tells me that's good. So again, this is the streetcar for Pullman, clockwise. Then from there, we can just grab a vehicle and say, hey, you look like a great vehicle. You're electric. You can carry 20 passengers. Let's get 4 of you. And 2 of you are going to go on CCW, and the other 2 are going to go on CW. So now we have two trams going each direction, and they're connected here, which means we can get passengers from other cities, and we take care of the passengers that need to be within the cities because we overlap in coverage. Now, eventually cities hopefully grow so large that we need to update this, and well, that'll be a future me problem. But for now, this works well. The only other note that I really have to say is make sure that none of your square is on a civilian route, is what we're going to call it. Basically saying that, like, this road here connects from Tacoma to Pullman, which means there's a lot of traffic, and you can see this here. There's a lot of traffic that comes between the two, right? And so you don't want this road that a lot of traffic is using to be a road that your trams are using, right? So just something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go ahead and go to Tacoma, which is a little funkier, but ultimately is the same exact thing. We are a little more condensely packed because they believe this is a larger city. We're gonna use our large street here again. And look at this. Again, here's a civilian route that goes from one city to the next. And actually the same street goes from Pullman to Oak. So that's fine. We can't upgrade this because of the port, so we can come here and come up. Now I'm thinking for ease, we're gonna connect it here and up. Like so. We're gonna connect it to here. And I'm thinking we're gonna probably come up over to here. And then we can connect you to you. Connect this guy downwards. So we have most of our route done here. And I like to go past it. And bring this guy up. And then we can just delete this. And I just realized that I've been paused. I'm not gonna worry about that. And actually we need to turn on the speed, so we don't miss anything when we do unpause. Okay, so then we need to put in our bus stations, tram stations. I probably want one in here somewhere. I mean, honestly, like right here would be good. We want one down here. So you cover right into there, so that's where we need to be as well. We need this street to connect. So let's make it connect. Because again, everything's about connections, right? So we weren't getting a lot of space in here because we couldn't go straight up. We had to go around and then up. So with that being said now, again, you are coming over just to this inside, so we want to make sure we cover at least that. I'm thinking right in here. Okay, and then you cover, oh, not these. So coming in right about there would be good. You come in here. Yeah, so I need to cover at least this area. Something right like that. Great. And then again, we're just going to connect this similar to the way we did before. And, sorry, yeah. This is C, this is Tacoma, CCW, because it's going counterclockwise. Another autosave. I think I need to turn that down a little. And then we're just going to go the opposite direction. And car for Tacoma, CW, great. The last thing we need to do is make sure we connect a tram depot to one of these. I'm thinking right over here would do. It's rid of some beachfront property, but that'll be fine. And again, I think we're just going to get 4 cars. And they're going to go each direction. That one. Okay, great. Now let's hit play. And actually, I'm going to pause time. Because I do like seeing the older vehicles. So I don't want to play a lot in the older times. We will eventually get to the newer vehicles. Just give it some time. God, look at all this wire mess. It's worse spaghetti than when I play Factorio. Or Satisfactory. Satisfactory's a spaghetti mess until I make a wall. Now you may notice that there's 3 going up here. The trams will work to go to opposite sides of the map. I don't know why. That's why one of them isn't on the right side. Actually, there you go. So one of them just flipped around to be going the correct direction. You may also notice, let's see if we can catch a vehicle doing it here. This guy, I'm thinking is gonna do it. This guy is driving in our bus lane. So our delivery trucks can technically use our bus lanes for deliveries, which means that this road is now infrastructure for us to deliver upon to, which is great news. Means it makes things a lot easier. Now, Tacoma, and I'm gonna need to pull up my reference photo here because I didn't bring it up earlier. Routes, there we go. It's gonna blind me for a second. No, it's not. Great. Tacoma has 3 routes going to it. Surprisingly enough, it does not go to Seattle. Not by default. Tacoma goes to 3 places, and that would be Pullman, Oak, and Clear, according to this photo. Now, I will say it doesn't really make sense for Tacoma to go to Clear when Pullman doesn't go to Clear. I'm thinking what we're going to do instead is going to switch that to be a Pullman route instead of a Tacoma route. Which means Tacoma is going to go to Seattle instead. Because that makes a lot more sense. So Tacoma will go to Oak, Seattle, and Pullman. Pullman will go to Seattle, Tacoma, and Clear. But that means what we can do here is, first off, we're going to delete some streets. You may notice over time that I'm doing this in between episodes. I'm just clearing like streets that aren't in use. This does a couple of things for us. It prevents us from accidentally connecting 2 cities that we don't want to connect, right? So for instance, right now, Tacoma doesn't connect to Seattle. Not directly, at least. Or not directly, at least. It may indirectly connect somehow. It doesn't directly connect. If we have this spaghetti mess, so that was connected here, right? Or somewhere in here. And if it went up to here, and actually it does, it would connect all the way through. But because we disrupted this, by the time this connected, whatever new industry was near, there's no passenger routes, right? So there's no demand for it, so we don't get the annoying warning. So in between episodes, you might notice that I go through and clear some of these other routes out. Like so. Of course, being careful not to delete the ones that matter to us or the ones that matter to the civilians. Now, let's look at Tacoma, because I want to get rid of this guy, and we're going to put in a pass-through station like so. We're going to make it a 3 route, and we're just going to go like that. Ooh, did that connect to that? I think it did. Ooh, good. I forgot to check before placing it down. So that being said, we do need a 3rd one here. So let's go ahead before I forget and put it in. Now I did accidentally forget to make these higher speed because passenger trains do require higher speeds. However, I think we'll be fine in this instance. So we want to come through here and just sneak in lower to this train route. So let's actually start from this end. And again, we're going to go with our higher speed track. And we're just going to come in like so. Yep, that works well. And let's actually bring up our other track here. Good, good. We're gonna clear out, we're gonna go back in. And this resets your elevation edits so that you're not still building it. It'll start trying to connect to the ground again. Honestly, a straight path might be the best way. Though it does look like we do need to still edit this. Being a passenger route, you want your tracks to be as flat as possible. It just looks like it doesn't want to cooperate here, and that's okay. So we do have a little bit more of a hill there, and then we're just coming here like so, and probably come in to connect here. Like that. Bam. So that's our Pullman to Tacoma. And then, because this is the end of the line down here, but we're going to connect to several of these cities, let's go ahead and put our train station like down here. Before we do that, let's get crossing here. This as much as possible, right? And there we go. And then we will turn this and put it right into here somewhere. Ugh, too much curvature. Yeah. Oh, and that's like right next to the city. Do we have a... I don't really have a better spot to do it. Thinking here, and I'm thinking that we're just gonna go like this. Just so it stops here, because we are gonna have this other route that comes off, right? Kind of like so, and then it's gonna cross the river somewhere in here. And that actually works out really well, because then we're gonna so, and can you sneak past that? You can. Great news. Sneak up just a little bit more, and I think we want to give it a little bit of height here. Thank you, autosave, for hurrying up. There we go. And that will be a connection to clear eventually when we get there. Now, we do need one more to go up north. I'm thinking we're probably going to split it off right here and just cut right up through. If not sooner, in fact. Let's look at this again. We do need you to like come down more, but that's not going to be possible either, because I like struggling. Too much curvature. Oh, look at that. Done. Great. Signals. One ways. Yes. Wait, one right. Let's not do an auto signal for now. Just like that. And then we will do auto signaling, yes, a space of 240. I guess we are still only running 160 trains. I'm thinking like right in there. And that connects all the way in, which is fantastic. We're gonna put in our crossing here. I want to hit at least 100 with that. These trains are faster, but again, you still have to pick up speed, so I think 100 is absolutely fine. And then we're just gonna do one like that. We're gonna put one right in here. And then I'm gonna put one right here. So we do have the doubles all the way through, which is great news. Now, this is kind of step 2, but I did want to take you through the process because we are going to launch our train track here today. Because I like playing trains a lot more than I like playing trams, but trams are easy because it's just, you know, normally a square-ish. And actually, we're already getting passengers on our routes, though this is terrible. 5 passengers. Well, we only have 2 trains, or 2 trams per route, I guess. Alright, so let's go ahead and try and get our first passenger train here. Oh, this is diesel. Interesting. We do have electric, so we could do electric passenger cars. Top speed's 120, which is great because that is one of the speeds of the passenger train. This guy goes 110, so we're only losing 10 kilometers per hour, and carries 20 versus this is a lot higher maintenance, isn't it? Yeah, it is, and single cost in fact. Let's go ahead and go with the 6-axle passenger car. 6-axle passenger car. That's what I said. And we can only do 160. There we go. So 146. Let's go ahead and get 2 of them going for 19 million. This game gets pretty expensive. And first off, we need to do a new line. And we're going to go from here to Tacoma. Bam. Fantastic. And this is going to be a passenger train. And this is going to be Pullman, Tacoma. And then we can go ahead and get our 2 trains on there like so. There it is. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to get probably Seattle and Clear connected up and in between episodes and bring you back to do some more in the next episode. If you liked this episode, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care. Bye.